What's up guys, Saif Ashraf here. Today we're going to be going over some battery saving tips for your MacBook. This can be your MacBook Air, your MacBook Pro. And yeah, I'm just going to be going over some battery tips showing you how you can maximize the amount of battery you get from your MacBook. So yeah, without anything else said, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so tip number 1, you need to adjust your display brightness and preferably keep your display on auto brightness. Obviously, when using your MacBook on battery on your lap or on your couch, you're going to be using that display. Depending if you are in a bright room, then obviously, yeah, you'll have to keep your brightness up. But make sure you keep your brightness low to a point where you can see it. Obviously, it's one of the most power hungry components, so make sure your display brightness is set to a point where it's low, but at the same time, obviously, you can see it. Alright, tip number 2, if you're not doing anything intensive, you're browsing the web, looking at photos on your MacBook and stuff, you want to enable low power mode in your settings for your MacBook. All you have to do is go into system preferences and then go into battery, and then there'll be a toggle to enable low power mode. I normally use low power mode when my MacBook is just on battery and I know I'm not doing anything intensive. It also makes sure that your MacBook runs more quietly, so the fans won't turn up as much, but obviously if you are using low power mode you won't be doing anything intensive anyway. But yeah, using low power mode will save you a bit of battery. It's basically like the low power mode on your iPhone. Tip number 3. I know a lot of you guys have your docks with apps just open which you aren't using. I've gone through a day where I have apps open on my dock and I just don't use them the whole day. So what you should do is you should go through your dock and see what apps are currently being used and what currently aren't being used. For example, if you aren't using an app such as WhatsApp, it's just running in the background making sure that all your messages are up to date. If you're not using WhatsApp in the current time, just close it and just use your phone. If your phone gets a notification, then you'll know and you can reopen it on your MacBook. But just make sure that all apps that you aren't using are closed, as it will save resources in the background and your MacBook won't have to constantly be refreshing the apps that are currently open. So yeah, close the apps you aren't using, and if you are using a web browser, close the tabs that you aren't using. It will save power by not refreshing them constantly. Alright, the next tip is going to be update your Mac OS. I don't think a lot of people understand, but when you update your devices, it actually helps your battery life and your performance of your devices overall. There's often lots of little bugs and glitches that go through when you buy your device, and the updates make sure they clean that out. And there are sometimes bugs that cause the battery of your device to drain more. Next tip, disable location services. If you are at home and you know you're using your MacBook on your desk and you aren't going anywhere, then yeah, you should disable location services on your MacBook. Apps such as weather, maps, and some other apps you may have granted access to can often ping your location, which uses battery on your MacBook. And if you are just at home and you're not taking your MacBook anywhere, then you won't need to keep your location on. I'm not sure many people use maps on their MacBook anyway. If you are going outside, then yeah, turn it on in case you lose your MacBook, so you want to use Find My. But if you're at home, turn off location services. It uses a lot of battery. Next tip, make sure that your MacBook is in a place where it's ventilated. This tip won't be a lot to people with the MacBook Air, but if you do have a MacBook Pro and your fans are covered, or you have your MacBook in a low ventilated place, then the fans will start to spin up because it needs to cool the CPU, and when that happens, obviously the fans use energy to turn around. And last but not least, your keyboard has a backlight. If you aren't using your keyboard backlight, or if you are in a bright room, macOS actually does turn off your keyboard when it thinks that you are in a bright room and you won't need to use it. But if you can just do it yourself, if you know that you're not going to be using your keyboard backlight and you just know your keyboard by heart anyway, then yeah, make sure to turn off your keyboard backlight. This is kind of like the tip where I said make sure your display brightness is low. It basically means the same thing. Alright, so that about wraps it up for today's video on how to save battery on your MacBook. Let me know if this works, and let me know what MacBook you have in the comment section down below. But yeah, with that said, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe because more videos, tips and tricks are coming soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.